so we can get moving and shaking.
Yes, thank you very much.
Well, can we just move? I don't feel like shaking.
We're live, Mr. Garcia.
He is
17. Okay. Are we going to talk about it? Okay. Yeah, let's chat more about it for sure. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Thank you.
Caleb is on his way, though, right?
No, Caleb's not.
He won't be here today. Okay.
Not well.
He's not feeling well. Okay. We're going to go to community comments and closed session item. First one I have is going to be Miss Jessica Padilla.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Padilla, and I'm an instructional assistant for special education. And I'm here to pick up where I left off in the last board meeting when I last spoke regarding Mr. Dickinson and the position that's been created for him. I am thrilled to report that I found a positive item that Mr. Dickinson can be credited for, and that is raising the boot allowance from $50 to $150 so that our colleagues who are required to purchase specific footwear can be fully reimbursed instead of partially. According to the California School Board Association, the role of the school board is to ensure that school districts are responsive to the values, beliefs, and priorities of their communities. Responsive, receptive, reacting quickly and positively, answering. And I want to know why there's no transparency, why our concerns are not addressed, why our questions go unanswered. I want to know how in good conscience you continue to allow this to happen. How do you invent positions and for what reasons? Why do you claim to vote on an item but have a predetermined outcome? Is there something that I'm missing? How do you sit there and declare you represent our community? It's discouraging, it's disheartening, it's embarrassing. I genuinely anticipate that the words resonate with the board and compel you to carry out your due diligence, that you do more than the seemingly perfected pseudo-listening with your eye contact and your head movements and your body language, that the little sound of your set alarm is more than your cue to thank me for my time and move on to the next pressing concern. I find it ironic that with my associate's degrees and years of experience, I cannot run my classroom, yet Mr. Dickinson can run an entire department with his high school or GED education. It is also alarming that, to my knowledge, he has not taken the opportunity to pursue higher education. After all, this is a school district. We are the epitome of education, and we should stand by it. Lastly, I urge you to look into my employee file, my evaluations, attendance, reputation, and work ethic. Speak to my supervisors, colleagues, past employers, my students, even my enemies if I have any. It is important for you to understand that I am not a problematic employee looking to join the next big movement. I am simply speaking up for what is right, or in this case, speaking out against what is wrong. Ignored behavior becomes accepted behavior, and I will no longer ignore nor accept this behavior. It is unrealistic and unfair for the board to expect us to do so as well. I leave you with this quote from Mahatma Gandhi that will reflect your precedent based on your decision of what once was a 16B vote. Action expresses priorities. Will you do what is ethically right, or will you give Deshawn the position of Director of Risk Management and Safety, unless you have already done so? My sincerest appreciation for your time and attention and for allowing me to state my piece. I will see you all in open session. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mullin and Dr. Williams, would you be willing to meet with this employee to go over the questions that she has?
Sure. Yeah, what she would need to do is follow protocol.
Okay.
So she needs to make an appointment, and then we have to sit down.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, PJ.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy St. Patty's Day. My name is PJ Ehart, and I am from Sims. And along the same lines, how to hire a teacher. Identify the need, post the position, interview, select the best qualified. That person must demonstrate a strong content knowledge, have a proven track record for planning lessons with clear learning objectives and meanings for assessing whether or not those objectives have been met, a proven track record for engaging students in their own learning, demonstrated success in working collaboratively on a team, strong organizational and communicative skills, have demonstrated success in tailoring instruction to the needs of diverse learners. How to hire a classified employee. Identify the need. Post the position needed. Applicants must test to prove that they are qualified and make sure that they put the right file in the right box when they're on the test. They have to interview, and then again, we select the best that is qualified. How to hire at the district level. Identify a person. Create a position. Congratulations, the job is yours, regardless of education or responsible experience, qualifications. It is time for VBTA, CSEA, and VVUHSD to work together to create an equal opportunity hiring process at the DO level. Why does VVUHSD not hold itself to the same hiring standards that it does for certificated and classified personnel? Imagine the quality of personnel that we could have if we were at that level. The inadequacy creates multiple discrepancies. We do not attract the best at all levels. We are not offering and promoting qualified staff to have that opportunity to apply within. We are showing favoritism. We create distrust, discord. We're not able to work together as a team for the betterment of our students and the community who entrust us to make the best decisions. Potential liability, further employee distrust of being able to rely on each other as employees to do their job properly, ensuring that all the needs are being met. We should not have to worry about whether or not we're going to get paid if we have the necessary support for our subject areas or assistance with the health insurance issues or the future current medical needs for staff or confidentiality issues. Until VVUHSD is willing and able to start holding itself in the same hiring standards as it does for certificated and for classified, our district will never be able to aspire to be the best in the high desert. It is an embarrassing and an unnecessary position that our district has chosen to put itself in. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Mr. Moomin and Dr. Williams, can I just say, and I'll maybe again in open session, that if there are questions about hiring or staffing positions, that if they follow the procedure, they can meet with you to discuss our legal obligations and whatever concerns they have regarding hiring. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Colleen?
I'm Colleen Gibson, and I have the best position at the best school. I am the librarian at Hook Junior High School, and it seems that my comments are going along with other people's. I was told that comments before closed session should apply to those items that are listed on the closed session agenda. The agenda is not very specific and not very clear to this laywoman's eyes, so I'd like to approach something that may be there within there. I was just wondering if Kathleen Hardy was unable to fulfill the parameters of her position. If not, if she was able to do her job and do it well, then I'm wondering why we need a new position or positions to direct the position that was accomplishing what needed to be accomplished. Kathleen Hardy is currently the risk manager. If she has been managing well, then why do we need a new position to do the same job, especially such exorbitantly expensive positions? So while you are thinking about restructuring human resources, please keep that presently rhetorical question in mind. And before you go into closed session, I have something else for you to think about. I would say I have a question, but I'm not going to call it that because that's just it. What I'm wondering is what happens to the questions that are posed to the board. I want to thank Ms. Edmondson, who takes the time to acknowledge emails. Another respected member of the board let me know that you can't comment on personnel issues, and I respect that. So then what happens? Are we wasting our time? Time preparing, time traveling for our 3 minutes of what? It doesn't seem like our questions are being answered. It doesn't seem like our concerns are addressed. Are we even heard? What is the purpose of public comments? Are you listening? Do you care? Then how can you show us that? That is my food for thought for you as you meet to discuss these important issues. Ask yourself what you can do to show the people you serve, the people that voted for you, and those that did not, and those that you hope will next time, that you hear us. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I have Brianna.
Hello. Wasn't planning on coming today, but then I realized that this is the last board meeting before negotiations. So I figured I'd come before closed session so that way maybe you guys can actually bring it up this time about what you're going to do to support us sped teachers. We're not asking for a lot. We're asking for 100 hours at 100% of our pay to be able to do all of our IEP duties on our own time, outside of our contract time. We also are looking at the numbers for ED and SH. Right now, we don't have a lot of classes above what we're asking for, but we need to make sure that our numbers stay low because those are the most needed classes, students with the most need. So we need to make sure that we can do that. The industry standard for ED is 8 with multiple staff. I teach the ED class over at Lakeview. Right now I have 10 in my largest period with 1 aide. I have another aide that comes as they're available. A lot goes into that. I prep remedial ELA. I have grade level ELA. I prep 7th grade science. I have 8th grade science. I have to figure out how to teach both of those at the same time, which means some kids have to be working on their own while I'm teaching the other group because I can't rely on my aide being in the classroom. Behaviors. I prep 7th grade history. I prep 8th grade history. Again, figure out how to teach them both at the same time. I prep 3 different math groups. I prep a morning meeting, social skills lessons, and a mindful journal throughout the day because as an EBD teacher, I haven't been given any SEL curriculum. If I had, it probably wouldn't be sufficient enough anyways. So I don't mind doing that. However, in those 11 different preps that I have, I also don't have my kids grouped by academic levels. So I have students who are kindergarten levels. I have kids that are in the honors classes. And I have to figure out how to adjust the work for all of that. That's just for middle school, 2 grade levels. Can you imagine being a high school teacher for the ED classes where they have 4+ years that they have to get it all adjusted for? If you guys were to approve the 100 hours, it would help immensely. It would give me the time to actually use my prep to prep for those 11 different groups that I have to deal with. It's not a lot. You guys are constantly saying that we go into the budget, but now, as we know, you guys have all these new positions. We're redoing boardrooms. We're redoing all sorts of things. That doesn't seem to be a money problem, so I don't understand. I'm not even allowed to use my adjunct duty hours this year to write IEPs on outside my time because it's part of my professional duties, I believe was the wording. And I know other teachers have been told the exact same wording at other sites, so I know it's coming from the district. Where's the help? We're begging you. You guys are going into closed session. Negotiations are coming up. That's all we're asking for. I think it's completely reasonable, and we desperately, desperately need the help. And hopefully it helps morale, because right now the morale sucks, and the teachers don't want to be here. I have teachers ask me all the time if they should switch districts. I keep telling them, hold out, let's see what happens with this, because otherwise I can't ask them to stay here because there is no support. We don't feel it. We're exhausted. Please help. Please bring it up in closed session, and please push the district to approve those 100 hours at 100%.
Thank you very much. I have a motion to go into closed session.
So move.
Need a second?
Second.
Let's vote. Ms. Dew?
Aye.
Ms. Edmonston?
Yes.
Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well.
the next time.
Yep.
Okay.
Is our student here? Okay, got it.
Good to go. All right, can I get a motion to come back to open session, please?
So moved. Second?
Let's vote. Miss
Aye.
Dew? Miss Edmondson?
Yes.
Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Okay, let's go. 3.2 members present. Everybody's present except Mr. Castaneda today. That's 3.3. 3.4, Pledge of Allegiance.
Hey, there we go.
All right. Dr. Williams, would be so kind.
I pledge allegiance
Okay. I got 3.5. We need to pull item 10.8 off of 3.5. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Let's vote. Miss Dew?
Aye.
Miss Edmonston?
Yes.
Mr. Barrios? I vote aye. Okay, we're going to go 4.1. We are going to recognize the Victor Valley High School wrestling team. I hear they're outside, so let's bring them in. Come on in.
We're getting ready.
We're going to take pictures with them, yeah? Board?
Of course.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Coach.
Okay.
Thanks for having us tonight, appreciate it, board, district office, everybody for being here. I want to say a couple of things real quick about the team. We have some girls a couple girls that didn't make it, I'll talk about that too, but I've been here 13 years, and just seeing a familiar face, the guy that actually brought me here 13 years ago, Mr. Moment, was a big part of this, and now he's here again, because a couple of years in, we won our first CIF title, and he was there, so I appreciate that. But this year we had another good season, well, second decent, but we won our 12th league title. We haven't been beaten in league. So I've been here 13 years. This is our 12th straight league title. We haven't been beaten league in 12 years. So that's a huge accomplishment. I've got a very young team. The girls, a couple years ago, they started DSL for the girls. We've won the first year they had it, and then we won it again this year. We had 3 champs and 2 seconds. The other girls aren't here. We had 2 CIF placers. Yeah, one of them played softball. We had 2 CIF placers that went on to Masters. Then the boys, we won a league. CIF, we were actually, they had us 8th at the beginning of postseason. We ended up beating the number 2 team, 2-ranked team in the semis to make it to the finals. Just a great group of guys. My coaches were Coach Noah. Oh, there he is. My bad. He was on one of the CIF championships. He's alumni. He's been here. Went on to wrestle at college. He just went back. His college just won another national championship at Warburg. So he's back. We got him a teaching position at Victor. I'm ready to hand those reins over pretty soon. Coach Randy's been with me since my first year here also.
Coach Randy.
Whoa.
All right.
Sometimes I make notes.
Oh, don't forget anybody.
Usually I just talk, exactly. 13 years. The girls, okay. And of right now, I gave them a couple weeks off after season. We started back up last week for next year already. Look at Burgos, he's an old wrestling guy, he knows. And right now, with the girls wrestling has exploded throughout the country. All the colleges, high schools, we have one of the biggest state tournaments out there. Right now, with preseason, with people coming out, we have 10 girls out right now. Right now, we have 5. And we've got a few seniors back there that are looking to go to college. We've got the twins right there. Joey Cruz back there, raise your hands. You guys, they're gonna be wrestling in college. Just to show you how hard they've worked, and also because, you know, COVID kind of took a step back with all the schools and sports and programs and stuff like that. But right now, out of this team doing amazing things, what they did, pulling off league, getting to the finals of CIF again. Raise your hand if you're a returner for next year. Raise your hand if you're coming back. Up. Hi. And the good thing about it is, out of the 14 starters, 10 of them have never wrestled before. So that's a huge thing. So just want to say thank you for acknowledging these guys, and hats off to all these guys.
We want to get pictures with you guys.
You guys know how to do it.
There you go.
Not that we do a lot of pictures. Don't get me wrong.
Come on, Barbara.
It's for them.
No, you get in there, Coach. Go ahead, Dr. Williams, get in there with the board members.
I was like, man, you were Pittsburgh.
Look at Dr. Hawkins. I got those too.
Get over there, Coach.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Wait, Chris, we got one more board member. One more board member, one more board member.
Yeah.
I know. Got it? Yeah.
They just handed them in today.
Smile, boys.
One more.
They're gonna. It's okay to smile, yeah. They can, I can tell them.
Okay, everybody, look right here. How about like a number one?
Put it up.
All right, congratulations.
Oh, coins.
Oh, yeah.
Another good thing too is you notice how they dress a little bit. Well, some of them have saggy jeans and stuff, but that doesn't usually happen. But not on my team. But it's kind of nice. We go to big tournaments, like 75 teams throughout the country, and we get commented on how our kids act and dress. They think we're from a rich private school. Rich, yeah.
Rich and Kurt.
Did anybody not
Can I
get
do that?
We're working on that. We're working on that.
I don't blame him. He doesn't realize I was a young coach once.
Yeah.
I got it.
You guys good? You got everything? You got everything? All right, head out. Tell everybody thanks.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome. You guys take care.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you. Hey, always, my friend. Good.
Okay.
I had a silver.
There you go.
Yeah, one of their CIF players, she's a catcher.
Nice.
There you go. There you go.
She's her and my granddaughter are on the same travel team, so they're
Oh, okay.
when Sultana played Victor.
Yeah.
It was like the class reunion.
That's
Except Victor
awesome.
won. Yeah, Victor's softball team's doing pretty good.
No, they are doing great. I saw
Yeah.
that in the papers. Okay, we can go ahead and pick back up 4.2.
Now that we had fun.
Gonzalez.
Stephanie Gonzalez, Adelanto High School student, is what I'm. Oh, I do. So, congratulations to Miss Stephanie Gonzalez on her performance with the SBC MEA High Desert Honor Band. This was an audition-only ensemble for top high school musicians in the High Desert community.
gonna have her come up?
Yeah, I'll have her come up.
I got. Oh, we're ready.
Jose's got one.
Stephanie, we have you stand back and we can be back here.
Yeah, just need that. How you doing?
Honor band. Yeah.
We're right here. We're right here.
It's great to see a band.
I know. Yeah, I want.
Wait, your principal should be.
Oh, that's here. Wow.
She comes from a very wonderful family, have had a lot of great success. But what is outstanding is that this was an interview application, and she is one of 400 students that applied, and the only one from our district in the High Desert to be a part of this, so we're very, very
No, stay right there.
What does she play?
I play also sax.
Oh.
Yay, saxophone! Yay. Wait. Does she have a parent over there? 'Cause
Yes.
I think your
Where's your
parent should be
parent?
here.
Where's
Yeah,
your
parent.
parent?
Come on over for
Come
a
over here,
picture.
parent. Oh my goodness.
their time. I didn't dress as
Come on, Richard, with yourself.
Congratulations to the parent.
Congratulations. For your
We'll take the picture for you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, sir.
Right?
Band award in this district.
That's awesome.
Some bands used to get stuff like that all the time.
Oh, really?
Now they don't fight the instruments and kids.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
You all right?
Okay.
That was nice.
All right, we can move on to 5.1, Auditor's presentation.
Is it broken or well?
I'm trying to make contact. Mr. Townsend is not here, our auditor. I'm getting a little concerned because he's normally very, very punctual. I've tried to make contact with him on his cell phone. So the audit is just actually, there is no action that the board really can take on an audit. You just have to
Right.
accept it. But I do have his presentation if you want me to go over it, but it's not, I don't know if Chris has, don't go over it? Okay.
Yeah,
Because
I
don't know.
that's
There was
okay?
no-
Yeah,
Okay,
there
so
was
we'll
no
move
bunch
on.
of
Send
numbers in
it,
there.
yeah, if you can
Yeah.
just send what you have
So-
to us,
Got it.
which we already
But-
have the,
Yeah, the next one's the important one.
yeah.
Got it. No, that's okay. Maybe we won't go through. We're unmodified, which means there were no significant findings in any area and so forth. So I will send the board the presentation.
Thank you.
And maybe an update, is he okay?
Yes.
Yeah, to
Yes,
see
I'm
if he's
trying to get
okay.
that.
He was so punctual, just.
Notes about.
Okay, let's go to move on to 5.2, second interim financial report. Is that the same?
Now you're up.
No, we
Okay.
have that.
Gotcha, okay.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Antoine Hawkins, Assistant Superintendent of Business Services for the Victor Valley Union High School District, along with Ms. Shanti Milton, our Director of Fiscal Services. This evening, we present to the Board of Trustees, the co-superintendents in our community, the Victor Valley Union High School District's second interim financial report for the period of 2021 through 2022. The second interim financial report represents the district's second official version of the adopted budget. Staff has prepared our financial statements utilizing the state format for the period ending January 31st, 2022. I am happy to say that we're able to certify the district's financial position for the current and 2 subsequent years with a positive certification. What this means is that our district will be able to meet our financial obligations for this year and the 2 subsequent years with a positive cash balance. The current budget development timeline shows us in progress March through April with the presentation of the second interim financial report. We will also pivot to ensuring that budget packets are finalized with sites and departments. This evening, we will have a presentation of the 2021 audit report by our auditors, and also we will work in concert with Ed Services relative to our Local Control Accountability Plan, or LCAP's annual update. Coming soon will be Governor Newsom's May Budget Revision Workshop. We will finalize the LCAP and integrate it with our 2022-23 budget. And then in June, we will take a public hearing of our LCAP and budget and adoption of the LCAP and budget for the 22-23 school year.
We are using Decision Insights conservative projections for our enrollment in ADA. For the current year, our enrollment is estimated at 10,916. ADA is projected at 93.78%, and the unduplicated pupil percentage is estimated at 87.76%. This is up from 83.52% in 2021. Based upon our demographers' analysis, we are expecting small declines in our enrollment over the next couple years, which will affect our LCFF revenue. COLA is projected at 5.07% in the LCFF calculator for the current fiscal year. We are expecting to see increases in our LCFF revenue over the next 2 fiscal years due to expected COLA increases of 2.48% in 22-23 and 3.11% in 23-24. The lottery and the mandated block grant amounts are updated with new rates and the projected ADA decline. Step and column and the STRS and PERS were updated with updated rates, along with estimates for increases in our health and welfare costs each year. Supplies and services are increased on an annual basis based on the Consumer Price Index. The Local Control Funding Formula, or LCFF, is the main source of general fund revenue. The LCFF funding is a mixture of property tax and state ADA apportionment. The 21-22 state ADA funding of $121.2 million usually represents about 75% of the district's total combined funding. Due to the infusion of COVID-19 relief funding, it drops to 57.9% of general fund revenue. The chart on the right shows the impact of the 5.07% COLA received in 21-22. We are also projecting a COLA increase of 2.48% in 22-23. Federal and state funding is primarily restricted and received for a certain purpose. Local revenue is made up of interest income, donations, and miscellaneous income. In the unrestricted general fund, salaries and benefits account for 86.6% of the budget. The remainder of the unrestricted general fund is utilized for the district's main operating costs, such as materials, supplies, contracts, site discretionary budgets, and utilities. On the restricted side of the general fund, the carryover is posted in the supply category for later distribution. All federal and state carryovers have been posted. Contributions are made from the unrestricted to the restricted general fund for programs that require additional funding. At the second interim, our total contribution is $25.8 million, and it's made up of $20.3 million for special education and $5.5 million for the routine maintenance account, or RMA. These contributions are projected to rise over the next 2 fiscal years due to a projected increase of 10% each year for the special education budget. We are also required to adjust our RMA contribution annually to ensure that it is 3% of the total general fund expenditures plus other financing. For the unrestricted general fund, LCFF revenues were updated at the second interim to reflect the enrollment projections received from Decision Insight. At the first interim, we used the prior year's P2 enrollment data in the LCFF calculator. Our projected total expenditures increased by $8.7 million. This is primarily due to the board-approved salary increases of 5% on schedule and 2% off schedule retroactive to the 2020-21 school year. Additionally, there is a $1.7 million increase in our capital expenditures to reflect the one-time purchase of school buses that is a part of our LCAP plan. Lastly, our contributions decreased slightly due to revised special education allocations that we received from SELPA. For the restricted general fund, one-time state and federal COVID funds were allocated. Additionally, the ending balance increased by $4.8 million due to a correction in the budget to several state programs. Due to the changes noted above, our general fund reserve decreased by 5.84% to 16.36%.
This slide shows our multi-year projection. Our multi-year projection, or MYP, shows the impact of the changes previously discussed over the next 2 fiscal years. Primarily as a result of the 2021 SERP, which will be fully paid for in 22-23, and the approved salary increases, we project that our general fund reserves will be down to 7.25% by the 2023-24 school year. We are also significantly deficit spending in our combined general fund by $12.5 million in 21-22, $13.8 million in 22-23, and $11.7 million in 23-24. If you look at this slide and you see under second interim 2021 total, you'll see total revenue of $209 million against total expenses of $218 million. This is where we get the deficit of $9.5 million. If you go over to the blue column, second interim 22-23 totals, you'll see our total revenue is estimated at $202,245,349. However, our expenses are estimated at $213,084,300. When you roll it out to the last column, we have a similar scenario where our expenditures are outpacing our revenues. However, at the bottom of the slide, you'll see that for the current fiscal year 21-22, we're estimated to have an ending fund balance percentage of 16.36%, and for 22-23, 11.45%, and then in the 23-24, 7.25% respectively.
No changes were made to the budgets in the other district funds since the first interim. Our adult education fund shows current year deficit spending of $83,721. However, this is a result of carryover expenditures from the prior year. This is not a true deficit year over year because the revenue was already recognized in the prior year. The deficit spending in our food services fund reflects the ongoing effects of COVID-19 on that fund. This is not expected to be a continuing issue.
As we come to our final 2 slides, I want to address some future considerations and our next steps for our district. In January, the governor released his budget proposal for the 22-23 fiscal year. State revenues remain strong with an expected surplus of $15.95 billion. This surplus is driven by what we call the 3 big taxes, which are personal income tax, sales and use tax, and corporation tax. Although our revenues remain strong, we are being cautioned by the Department of Finance not to be too optimistic due to growing inflation and slow job recovery. Inflation grew in the United States by 7.5% since the governor announced his January budget. Most of the United States has fully recovered jobs lost due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, California has only recovered 71.7% of the jobs lost in March and April of 2020. For the district, future considerations are the ongoing impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and future budgets, major deficit spending, labor negotiations, an unstable COLA or cost of living adjustment, UPP and enrollment. The budget development process for 2022 and 23 begins, but once we look at the governor's May revise, we will also come back to the board with any significant developments from the May revise contrasted to the governor's original January budget. And finally, we are proponents of monitoring our cash balances to ensure that we take the necessary measures to keep our reserves in line with state criteria and standards. At this time, I and our Director of Fiscal Services would like to entertain any questions from our Board of Trustees. Thank you so much and have a good evening.
Yes, Trustee Edmiston.
Declining enrollment?
So what happens, we have to go off of the FICMAT calculator. I'm cleanly aware that our enrollment is increasing. That's unique for Victor. Across the state, believe it or not, enrollment is declining. So when you look at enrollment to ADA, because there are two different numbers, you may be at 11,000 in enrollment, but due to absences and so forth, your ADA, which you capture, it may be 10 and whatever the number is. So one of the things that I'm doing in order to ensure that we're protecting our finances is we get 3 analysis from Decision Insight, which is a demographer. One analysis deals with aggressive enrollment projections. The other one is moderate enrollment projections, and then there's conservative enrollment projections. Y'all know I'm conservative, right? So I stick on the conservative side so that when we do have the increases, actually it helps us on the back end because that's real revenue that we'll realize.
How much longer are we going to consider enrollment instead of ADA? Because we've been allowed to do that. Is that going to continue from the state? Do we know?
Well, I know there's been conversations.
Yeah, there's been conversations, and
bill
we
that
have to
should
kind of
be-
see what's going to happen. One of the good things, one of the positives out of the COVID pandemic relative to funding for schools was they gave us that hold harmless piece and provision. So there is some looking at contrasting the enrollment to ADA, but actually for a district like ours that we're increasing in enrollment, that may harm us. How the legislation that I've seen. So I think that they just have to continue to hash it out and see where it lands.
Well, it would only harm us if we've overprojected our under enrollment. So if we don't
And that's where it
overproject
gets sticky.
under enrollment, we might be just fine. In fact, we'd find more money. Is it possible, Jackie, that you could continue? We haven't had those updates on enrollment like we used to. I know that kind of wavered during the pandemic, but we had like a weekly update of our enrollment, and it showed that we had a trend continuing to grow. I asked this before, the unduplicated count. Since we don't ask for financial information from our families for free lunch, how will we determine that we still will get our share of that unduplicated count of money?
Well, we still have to have our families fill out the forms that we have when they enroll, and then there's a period in the budget process or in the process where you have to recertify. We are a district that is CEP, all students eat free and so forth. But as we've been talking to central enrollment, and we've talked about having, and along with Mr. Bertelson back there in the room, I think I saw Dave back there. Oh, okay. We've talked about a better process to capture those numbers. I'm very appreciative to the principals for those income surveys is what I'm talking about specifically. Okay. The principals have worked with us in concert in our FELs. Mr. Williford has put them individuals to work as well, that we're trying to get those numbers as much as we can. I hope that answers your question. But it's about systems in place to make sure we capture as much data so that it doesn't hurt us on the back end.
So, considering data, can we start looking at the building permits that are being issued? Because our area is booming, especially in certain pockets right around here. I can't imagine that we're going to really consider that we're declining enrollment. But
well, and I understand your point. There is a process that the state has some calculators, and they audit against that or look against that when they're looking at our apportionment. So we have to follow that piece. But when the enrollment increases, we will receive the benefit of the increase. And to your point, because I did not answer this piece, I've already had a conversation with the co-superintendents regarding the data that you're requesting for the enrollment. We will definitely have that out to you once a week when we come back from break. Jackie, that we send you those numbers, and we will be giving that to the board. The superintendent has requested that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Can we get a copy of that presentation?
Oh, of course.
Thank you.
Perfect. Let's move to 5.3. We have the updated VVUHSD plan for safe return.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Williams, Cabinet, and viewing audience. My name is Ramoni Yee, and I am the proud Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services for our district. This evening, I will be sharing an update of our 2020-21 plan for the safe return to in-person instruction and continuity of services. First, Some background information. The American Rescue Plan Act, or ARP, was signed into law on March 11, 2021, which provides nearly $122 billion for the Elementary and Secondary School Relief Fund, or ESSER. ARP ESSER, also known as ESSER 3 funds, are provided to state educational agencies at the same amount as our Title I Part A allocation. The U.S. Department of Education requires LEAs receiving these funds to submit a plan for the safe return to in-person instruction and continuity of services. The plan must include how the district will maintain the health and safety of all students, educators, and other school and LEA staff. It must also describe how the district will ensure continuity of services, including but not limited to services to address students' academic needs and students' and staff's social, emotional, mental health, and other needs. And it may also include student health and food services. The plan must be reviewed and, as appropriate, revised and posted at least every 6 months to ensure it remains relevant and incorporates new or revised CDC guidance and other changed factors. And lastly, the plan must also be in an understandable and uniform format and, to the extent practical, written in a language that families can understand, or, if not practical, orally translated. Here are some highlights of the original plan. It included the health and safety guidelines from the California Department of Public Health for COVID exposures, symptoms, visitors, face coverings, etc. It also included our district's plan for distance learning for March 2020 to March 2021, with small cohorts attending in-person instruction. The plan also outlined the support given to students, especially our English learners, special education students, foster and homeless youth. This included Chromebook distribution, Wi-Fi access, which included buses with Wi-Fi located across the community. We also delivered resources to students, created parent engagement centers, hosted community forums, staff meetings, and offered SEL training to teachers to provide social and emotional support to our students. The plan also outlined the summer school program in 2020, which was all virtual except for our extended school year program. In addition, the plan provided for 3 options for students, including distance learning, regular in-person with social distancing, and a blended learning approach. Victor Valley Union High School District believes in meaningful consultation and feedback from all stakeholder groups. Some of the stakeholder groups whose feedback was used to inform the update of this plan includes the LCAP District Advisory Committee, community town hall meetings, supper with a superintendent, District Language Advisory Committee, school site parent groups, and student forums, to name a few. I will be sharing the updates in these 3 areas: health and safety, academic needs, and social, emotional, and mental health services for our students and our staff. We have updated our plan to reflect the current guidance of CDPH for masking. The plan also identifies any modifications to our facilities to allow for physical distancing, hand washing and respiratory etiquette, our cleaning schedule, and improvements to our ventilation system. We also updated the new guidelines for contact tracing, isolation, and quarantine, which includes diagnostic and screening testing. We have also added into the plan our district's efforts to provide vaccinations to school communities and appropriate accommodations for children with disabilities with respect to health and safety policies. Because safe return to and continuity of in-person instruction is fundamental to addressing the lost instructional time and disengagement that many students have experienced during the COVID-19 pandemic, it is essential that we implement prevention and mitigation strategies. Our updated plan includes some of these strategies. They are providing 3 instructional options. This includes in-person instruction, Victor Valley Virtual Academy, and independent study. To provide for equity and access, students who need technology support are also able to check out and take home Chromebooks and hotspots. We have also set up a help desk, email, and phone number for students, staff, and families who need technology support or have questions. The pandemic has demanded that our staff use even more technology in their instruction. In the 21-22 school year, we have provided teachers and classified staff with numerous learning opportunities such as Google Level 1 and Level 2 training, Kami and Screencastify, to name just a few. Professional learning opportunities are afforded to teachers and classified personnel in such areas as rigorous curriculum design, new EL curriculum adoption of our ILIT program, quality teaching for English learners or QTEL, N2Y curriculum and training for severely handicapped students, expanded learning education training, new teacher and mentor program through the Human Resources Department, and other academic, social, and behavioral training for teachers, administrators, and instructional assistants. We continue to offer tutoring services to all students through our contract with FVV Tutor. FVV Tutor is a 24/7 tutoring service company where students can log on using their ClassLink Launchpad and be connected with one-on-one live professional academic support when they need it, regardless of their core learning environment. In order to mitigate learning loss due to the pandemic, Victor Valley Union High School District offered a robust 2021 summer school program that incorporated credit recovery and enrichment courses in a blended model. We will feel the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic for years to come, especially in the areas of students and staff's social, emotional, and mental health. Victor Valley Union High School District is committed to the safety and well-being of our students, staff, families, and community at large. We have updated our plan to support the social, emotional, and mental health of our students and staff by hiring 7 mental health clinicians to serve our students and staff's well-being at their assigned school site. Students who have been identified as needing support through a referral process receive the services that they need. In addition, mental health clinicians conduct small group sessions and are also available to support staff's mental health. We also hired a district counselor to support our homeless and foster youth students, 9 LVNs, and 1 district nurse. We also developed the district's social emotional playbook and provided all school sites with an additional $12,500 to establish wellness rooms for staff and students. Some other supports include our partnership with Care Solace to ensure that our students, staff, and families have access to reliable, ethical, and high-quality mental health care no matter the circumstances. Our foster and homeless students and families also received additional support, including home visits, bus passes, and technology. We also provide suicide prevention workshops for families through the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. We have also purchased the Cognito online program to help train staff on ways to identify depression, anxiety, and suicidal tendencies in students. We also utilize the data from our Panorama climate surveys to support students, staff, and families in such areas as belonging and connectedness. We have also updated our plan to include our participation in the school breakfast program and also the National School Lunch Program. Victor Valley Union High School District qualified for the Community Eligibility Provision Program that allows us to offer free meals to all of our students. We also participate in the Child and Adult Care Food Program, which we also call our supper program. This federal funded program allows us to not only provide free breakfast and lunch, but also supper to all of our students at all of our sites and also in our community. In addition, we have also switched over our summer food service program to a seamless summer option, which will provide meals to our students and the community during summer school. This concludes my update of our 2020-2021 plan for the safe return to in-person instruction and continuity of services. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yu.
I have a question.
Question.
Very well done.
It's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you.
I think you hit everything in there.
9 minutes and 34 seconds. I couldn't cut it down.
It's okay.
We weren't able to provide our community meals the past summer because of staffing issues with our classified. Can we anticipate that might be an issue so we can meet that head on before it happens so we can continue providing meals for our community in the summer?
Yes, I mean, I would say that is absolutely our goal, is to make sure that we do provide those meals. And I know that in working on this presentation and the plan itself, I did talk to Mr. Hill, the nutrition services, and he was able to provide me some of those information. But Dr. Hawkins might have a few more information to share.
The reason why that came, that was a challenge, it was because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And one of the things that we did do, however, to mitigate was that, if you recall, we thankfully to our classified staff members, some of them supported by going into the community, and we delivered meals on school buses to students at several stops throughout the district. We don't anticipate this year that being the case because of the reduction in the COVID-19 cases, so we should be in full operation. Child nutrition services are starting to come back online like they were pre-COVID-19 pandemic, so it should not be an issue.
We'll have enough staff to make sure that
We
those
should.
positions are filled.
Back to normalcy.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Okay. 6.1, we can go to public, this is public hearing, sorry. This is for the safe return to school in person and whatnot. So let's go and open that hearing up at 6:32. I guess we probably should ask you a question.
I know you sent us this, and I'm sure Caleb would be interested in it. So I appreciate that you put it in the packet so that we all have that to review. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very well done.
Let me know in the minute. I forget, what did I say?
32.
Minute and a half.
Okay, just making sure. All right. I looked and I said it and then it just went right out.
Yeah, wait till you're older.
Gets better, right? All right, perfect. So we can go ahead and close that hearing. 7.1, we're going to go do public comment. Dr. Williams, if you'd be so kind as to read the.
If you wish to address the board on any topic, including any item on the agenda, please submit your comments to the board secretary by completing a request to address the board card prior to the meeting and submitting it to the assistant to the superintendent. The president will recognize those desire to speak either during the public comment section of the agenda or before the particular agenda item. Each speaker should move quickly to the microphone and announce your name before beginning your presentation. Meetings are taped for later transcription. Each speaker is allotted a maximum of 3 minutes. The president may choose to limit each topic to 10, no more than 20 minutes, if substantial number of people wish to address the board on one topic. Testimony should be brief and to the point. Speakers should not repeat testimony already presented. Board actions may not legally be taken on any item not specifically listed on the agenda. The board may ask that such items be placed on the next agenda for consideration. Testimony is protected with damage claims for slander, public charges, or allegations may result in legal actions being brought by those individuals. The board values constructive community comments and suggestions. It welcomes your participation in a democratic process.
All right, thank you, Dr. Williams. Okay, first one up is going to be Jessica Padilla.
Good afternoon. My name is Jessica Padilla, and I'm an instructional assistant for special education. I would like to recognize classified staff along with certificated staff for the continuous commitment to servicing our community. Next, in the spirit of humility, I need to retract my statement from earlier. Mr. Dickinson was not responsible for the boot allowance. That was all thanks to CSEA President Tanya Martin and the negotiations team. So thank you for that. National Deaf History Month is coming up in April. It commemorates the contributions of deaf and hard of hearing individuals. The National Association of the Deaf, the NAD, first introduced National Deaf History Month in 1997, and in 2006, the American Library Association partnered with the NAD in supporting and spreading awareness of this celebration. I am asking the board to find a way to include subtitles or closed captionings in the board meetings or in the presentations because I would like to be more inclusive to the people of our community. I understand that we are working on getting translators for our Spanish speakers, and I would also like to bring awareness to our deaf and hard of hearing community.
Amen.
So often we overlook things. One of the recent things that I was told about was hearing privilege. And I know it sounds kind of weird and kind of silly to think that we're privileged, but we really are. If anybody noticed during those presentations, we had the freedom to look at our phones and go through, our papers. I went into my backpack and, got my hair tied. I just want to be more inclusive. So if there's any way we can look into that, I would greatly appreciate it. And I know this is also a big thing, but I just like to put it out into the universe to start considering incorporating ASL classes into our curriculum because it is recognized as a foreign language. And I think it would just be a wonderful, beautiful language to share with our community. Oh, sorry, I lost my place. So if you can include, closed captioning at the board meetings, other means of communication that solely consist of audio. Our school culture, should be established as an all-inclusive school culture. So let's strengthen that stance, spread awareness, and celebrate National Deaf History Month by learning ASL, learning about deaf culture, learning about or supporting deaf businesses, advocating for deaf accessibility at work and in our community. After all, deaf history is American history. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, Jared Nichols. Jared Nichols.
Good evening, board members, as well as our, there's no student tonight, co-superintendents and cabinet, students, staff, and community members. My name is Jared Nichols. I'm the Chief Negotiator for Victor Valley Teachers Association. Tonight, I address you in hopes that we can quickly settle the 2021-2024 successor contract. I'm proud to report that negotiations thus far have been very productive. We've reached tentative agreements on more than 2/3 of the articles. Conversations have been respectful and downright pleasant at times. We've whittled down the successor contract to a few remaining articles, all of which are tied to monies. Now that the second interim is being presented tonight, we hope the district will be prepared to bargain on the 29th and the 30th. After looking at the interim report, I'm very glad to see that we are deficit spending, as we should be spending down these robust reserves. One pressing issue is compensation for extra duties. Back in the day, a long way back in the day, I worked as a retail cashier. Occasionally, if I worked overtime, I was compensated time and a half for my extra efforts. As a teacher, if I attend professional development trainings or tutor my students, I'm not compensated at time and a half. I'm not even compensated at my full hourly rate. Instead, I'm compensated at 60% of my hourly rate. When I tutor, my students get 100% of my attention, not 60%. I put in 100% effort when I attend a training session, not 60%. Compensating certificated staff at their full per diem would benefit the staff, the students, and in turn the district too. More bargaining unit members would attend professional development trainings, thus giving the district a better trained staff and helping their students. Teachers would be more inclined to offer tutoring for their students, and we all know this would greatly improve student performance. With next year's late start dates, I think it's important that we really do everything we can to encourage tutoring, to encourage our staff to offer tutoring to the students, be it before or after school. And I think this would be a great way to encourage that. When full per diem was initially discussed at the table, the district was worried that it would be a high cost. After some discussions and emails, I was able to get a report from Ms. Milton in Fiscal Services. Based on her report, VVTA estimates that the cost to compensate certificated staff at their full per diem for extra duties would be nominal, less than an additional $2 million a year, and would result in a better trained staff and higher performing students. It should be noted that this is less than 1% of the district's revenue, according to the second interim report. Another important issue is support for our special education teachers. In March of 2021, VVTA and VVUHSD agreed to 24 hours of special education teachers to support them in their writing and administering of IEPs, paid at their 60% per diem. At the table, Dr. Rubalcaba stated that this would be a cost of $86,000. While this is a move in the right direction, it is not enough. Many of our special education teachers use their allocated hours in the remaining fourth quarter of 2021 and have also already used their allocated hours this year. So they're not getting enough hours and enough support. Additionally, we need to lower the class sizes and caseloads for our special education teachers, especially the SH and ED classes. Finally, we would like to ensure that VVUH... Can I keep going? Okay.
Just 2 seconds, quickly.
Okay.
You said fine.
We'd like to ensure that VVUHSD attracts and retains the best staff in the desert, but we need to ensure our salaries remain competitive with those in the area and also keep up with the rising inflation rates. As I am grateful for the salary increase that we bargained this year, we all know that that extra money is going to increasing inflation, gas, and food. My team is currently poring over the second interim, and we ensure that we will present a proposal that is fair to our teachers and counselors, but is also financially feasible for the district. We are and always continue to be good stewards of the district.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, next up is going to be Karen Alanis.
Good evening. My name is Karen Alanis. I'm here representing custodial staff. I would like to start thanking to all custodians for keeping the school running. As much as teachers and all certified staff deserve praise and support for all they do, inside and outside of a classroom, there are other unsung heroes that walk the halls every day, making sure our students have a clean place and safe place, and this goes to security department, where students can learn and grow. Custodians are responsible for more than just sweeping floors, wiping tables, and hitting the lights at the end of the day. We are a school first line of defense against viruses like COVID, which affected us in so many ways. All classified staff work so hard to keep our workplace running. We put our heart and effort to it, and we ask in return to support us, to have our bags the way we have yours. As a district, and we see that you have approved a few more. Unfortunately, that might not be enough. These shirts mean stronger together. We want to include you, but we need your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is going to be Brandy Forbes. Is that it? Did I say that right?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Brandy Forbes, and I'm a school counselor at Lakeview Leadership Academy. This is my 14th year as a school counselor, 12 of which have been with this district, and I have to say this has been the most difficult year thus far. I am here this evening to bring your attention to the safety and security issues we face at Lakeview. I know I'm not the first person to stand before you bringing up these issues, but I felt it was necessary tonight after multiple situations that have occurred on our campus, the most recent occurring yesterday. I know that other schools in our district and those around us are dealing with the same situations on their campuses. Our district is dealing with a student population much different than what we've had in the past. We have students who are active gang members, whose parents, siblings, and family members are gang members. And today's students and their families are less brazen than ever. Lakeview needs to have security measures in place to protect our students and staff. Parents being able to come onto our campus and confront students during lunch is a huge issue. For starters, we need our front office to be more secure. This was brought up at multiple board meetings as well. If the district can pay to remodel a conference room into an office for someone that isn't even in a position yet, and additional office spaces for support staff with new carpet in the kitchen, why can't we pay to make our front office at Lakeview more secure for the safety of all? There needs to be a way to prevent people from getting on campus. Whether we take measures like hook or do something else, we need to do something. I appreciate that the board has approved hiring more campus security throughout our district, and it has helped, but it isn't enough. Lakeview is a 7th through 12th campus, and our campus security needs to have more authority. Campus security at Lakeview and Hook face the same students that Silverado, Victor, and Adelanto security do. Every campus should have campus security that holds their PC 832 certification, and they all need to be paid the same. They should be able to carry spray and cuffs. These kids cuss out teachers, counselors, administrators, and security daily. They ditch class, wander the campus as they wish, and the tardies are out of control. When someone tells them to get moving, get to class, or attempts to redirect them in any way, they are berated with vulgarities and disrespect. They know the only thing that will happen is going to OCI or getting a suspension. They will come back from their disciplinary action and repeat the same behaviors because they don't care. We have a large number of students who have been gifted to us from other schools, which is also contributing to the chaos on our campus. If they cause the chaos at their former school, you can believe that they are causing it here. What about getting an SRO, like other high schools in our district? Or what about a full-time probation officer who isn't shared between us and Hook? I'm just concerned. A lot of staff, parents, kids, we're all concerned. And we would like you to hear our concerns and consider the things we've talked about in the past and this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Get Stephanie.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Olgwin. I would like to ask again why the board has refused to take action on Resolution 22-11, signed on January 20th, 2022. What public taxpayer funds are being misappropriated to continue to provide for a position of the Personnel Commission that was eliminated effective February 28th, 2022? The board attempted to move the Director of Classified Staff to the Director of Risk Management and Safety on February 28th, when the position should have been abolished, but chose to take the items off the agenda and have not readdressed this since. When are you going to take the action to remove the position? Recently, I've been to the district office for business and observed parents and students sitting outside of an office building that was used twice a month to hold SARB meetings and for other events such as shot clinics. Why has this building been removed from our parents and community members so we can create a space for somebody else? Another issue that concerns me is that we are withholding public information regarding qualifications of an individual that the board would like to make a Director of Risk Management and Safety. Under AB 2843 Public Records, the only information that should be redacted is home address and home telephone number. So who decided what information was to be redacted from the public to know? And lastly, when are our site's going to have, or our site in particular at Hook, we need an assistant principal. We got help from the district, but it's not helping. We need our additional security, and we need a permanent school office assistant, not just a temporary from the ESSER funds. We need the help. We need the additional positions. Please help us.
Thank you. Okay, the last one I have is Colleen Gibson.
First, I want to say how grateful I have been to, I'm sorry, I'm Colleen Gibson. You said that, but I'll say it again. To be here for the recognition of our amazing wrestlers and musician. That was awesome. Didn't that have a great feel? I love that. This evening, I wish to speak the words of a colleague who was not able to attend this evening. She would like to know where we stand with the dissolution of the Personnel Commission. An update needs to be given. Because, and I know I'm repeating myself, but 303 people went to the trouble to vote legally that the Personnel Commission be dissolved. The district went to a lot of trouble and expense as we had outside security to make sure this was done fairly and safely. And yet, here we are still. My friend would like to know, as so many of us, why has resolution number 22-11 not been carried out, not been fulfilled? This was your own resolution. And why are you not following through? Are you going to? Who should be overseeing this to make sure it happens? She wonders why Deshaun Dickinson is still in his seat. Why was he not provided with a layoff notice? What date will he officially be laid off, and what will his duties be until then? We are also asking what the description of the previous 16B position will look like. What are the plans for oversight? And what will the plans be moving forward? Lastly, she asked, what will the leadership model of classified look like now that he will be gone? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We are the 300.
Okay, 8.1 VVTA.
Good evening, board members. Dr. Williams, Dr. Moman, Mr. Moman, Executive Cabinet, students, educators, and community members. My name is Anita Tucker, VVTA President, and I represent 471 members. And I have to say as a special welcome to Mr. Moman, because I was really excited because I work with Mr. Moman at Victor High, and it's kind of like we're working together again. So very excited about that. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I see some of you are wearing your green. I'm wearing red. I have a little green on. And I hope you're all having an amazing celebration today. We have 50 teachers ready to attend the CTA Good Teaching Conference tomorrow. And we really appreciate the district providing this opportunity for educating and training our teachers. We look forward to negotiations on March 29th and 30th. I am looking as the end of the school year is flying by. And I wonder if we can honestly negotiate our contract before the end of the year and not just complete the negotiations, but the association and district ratification as well as the AB 1200. That's a lot to do in 3 months, less than 3 months. We will get our last retro on April 1st, and this will conclude everything with last year's contract. And we're starting the 4th quarter of the school year. Let's get this contract completely finalized by June 1. I hope that together we can do this. I'm very happy to see that the district is starting to fill the vacancies that will be here coming next year, and that we will be fully staffed when the school year starts for our students, especially for our incoming 7th and 9th graders. They need to walk into a classroom that is warm and welcoming. They need a teacher there. They need counselors there well before the first bell rings to ensure that our students are placed in correct classes and are ready. So many times we are making schedules at the last minute. We do not have enough teachers, and students start with substitutes. Many times our student schedules are moved 2, 3, 4, or more times in those first few weeks. Many times we're hiring new teachers and counselors around October. This hurts kids. Kids are resilient. But think about it. When you have a student who's struggling with math or English and they're moved multiple times, their schedules are changed, these students have to readjust yet again to another style of teaching. How does that benefit students? Many times I've seen students struggle in math and they pretty much give up. And that's after, not even before the first quarter, not to mention the rest of the year. In my experience with struggling students, it's vital that those first 2 to 3 weeks were stabilizing, formative, and welcoming. Students who feel like the schools are prepared for them and they are important, that they matter, makes for students who try and succeed. I've never met a student who comes to school the first day wanting to fail. I've never met a parent who did not want their child to succeed. Yet we set them up for failure time and time again by not being prepared, by not having teachers in place. Every year, VVTA projects students' numbers as well as the district. And every year, VVTA's numbers are correct. Our students show up, and then we're scrambling to accommodate for them. And scrambling to accommodate our students does not help them. I understand that the district is wanting to be conservative, and they're trying to be good stewards of our taxpayers' monies. However, what better way to spend the money than to ensure that they have the best education possible for their children, the taxpayers' children? Now is the time where having more counselors to work with our students will help. What better time to have an overage of counselors? Having lower class sizes in subjects like remedial math, English, reading, English as a second language, special education, that would make a true difference. They say that children need to have someone at school that they think cares about them and can make connections. Yet we keep our staff to a minimum, all our staff at the sites. So those opportunities of making those connections are more difficult. We like to say that we are all about students. Are we? Is everything we do to help and support our students? And I'm asking all of you here today, can we work together? Collaboratively, classified, certificated, management, board, families, so that no child has to go through numerous class changes, teacher changes, and we have the necessary staff ready to prepare and welcome them, classified, certificated, management at the sites, and give them the start that they deserve. We have a budget. You've seen it in the second interim. Why are we not spending it for what matters most? Because In 20 years, it's not going to matter what we have in these offices, but it's going to matter for those students, and it's time that we start to put them first. Thank you very much. And I wish you all a happy and well restful break.
CSCA.
Good evening, Superintendent, Mr. Bowman, Co-Superintendent, Cabinet, and board members. As you see, my people get more and more every week, board meeting we come. I'd like to thank, we have 2 of our local presidents, the Hesperia president here supporting, and also the Victor Valley Elementary School District president supporting. I'm not sure if you guys are watching what's going on in the community, but the community is watching our district. You know, they've been calling me for support. My people have been calling them because we feel we need support because they feel CSEA is not being supported by the district. So I hope that we are looking in the right direction. I see small positive changes in the last couple weeks since Mr. Moman has been here. But I'm not confident. I'll be honest. I've met with him twice, and he knows my concerns. I'm confident in him, but I don't know that I'm confident in the rest of you sitting up there. I just hope that you guys are here to do what's right for our kids, for our district. It's frustrating to come to work and just not want to be here. This hasn't happened to me in the last year. It's a struggle to come to work every day, and it's pretty sad. As you hear the custodial staff, they're still struggling. I know we said we're going to give one here, one there. These people are struggling. The campuses are not clean. They're dirty. We need help. We need more people on the ground. Schools still aren't safe, and we don't have enough. So I hope that, I know that we've talked about in negotiations about helping advance the security together, and we're having some good conversations about that in negotiations, and hopefully we'll get there soon. But we need people on the ground. We need people on our school sites helping us with the day-to-day operations. So I just empower the board, the superintendents, cabinet, to do the right thing. I know we have some people that are looking in the right direction, but some people need to refocus and redirect and do what's right for our kids, the staff, and the families of the district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I forgot one thing. I do want to inform the board that we did lose one of our members. She was a member of the campus security, Sharon Baker. She lost her battle with cancer, and we will, the family did share her services. They will be on March the 26th at Abundant Living Family Church in Hesperia off of Mauna Loa. And the CSEA leadership team, that is my home church, so I will be there in support, but a lot of our classified staff and the family did want to extend the invitation to the district administration and the board. She will be missed, and she worked at Silverado. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, 9.1, approval of agenda items. Okay, a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, and that's just with the one 10.8, just to remind you guys, 10.8 has been pulled. Okay, let's vote. Ms. Dew?
Aye.
Ms. Edmonston?
Yes.
Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Okay, let's go 10.1, certificated personnel report. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second? I'll second. Any discussion?
Yeah, just one thing, and I've mentioned this, well, in private, but I just want to make sure on 10.1 that we have a director of HR, all right, then it's going to be solely dedicated to classified staff and overflow from certificated. And my only concern is that a year from now, we're gonna say, oh, we also need a classified director. Because we only have so many offices left, okay? And, you know, we've still got a few classrooms where we could put students. And I think that's more important.
Okay. And vote. Ms. Dew?
Aye.
Ms. Edmonston?
Yes.
I vote aye. And Mr.
Aye.
Barrios? Aye. Thank you. 10.2,
So moved.
Second.
discussion?
Just one, what were these, it seemed like there was an unusual amount of resignations. Were they just people just resigning or retiring or health reasons?
Yeah, we get resignations throughout the year. There is turnover, and those are just the ones we have
It
right
just
now
was
for this
one of
report.
those months that we
Just
had more
attrition,
than
yeah.
others.
It's just attrition.
Just attrition, yep. Okay, vote, Ms. Dew,
So, aye.
Ms. Edmondson,
Yes.
Mr. Barrios.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. 10.3, doctoral stipend.
So moved.
Can I get a second? I'll second. Any discussion? Vote, Ms. Dew,
Aye.
Ms. Edmondson,
No.
Mr. Barrios,
No.
and I vote no as well. 10.4. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just one question, so is this updated, has this gone through both bargaining units that,
Yes, so we had an employee identify a mistake. That was an oversight of the committee. We came together as a calendar committee, found a solution, and we've resolved it. So we're just asking the board
Okay.
to,
so that's a yes? All right.
yes.
Okay. Vote, Ms. Dew,
Aye.
Ms. Edmondson,
Yes.
Mr. Barrios.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. 10.5.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, just one thing, on the audit report, it says, myself and Ms. Dew, our terms expired in 2020, so I guess we're going.
No, we will make sure that is corrected before it's sent to the state, because there's still a process there.
It's kind of a minor
I thought it
thing,
was
but
just
when
an
an
oversight.
audit report is so important, and they can't even get those dates right.
Got it.
Guys,
But nobody cares about those dates except us.
Nobody cares.
hey, it's just a year.
I know. All right, let's vote. Ms. Dew,
Aye.
Ms. Edmondson.
Yes.
Mr. Barrios.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. 10.6.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Let's vote. Ms. Dew,
Aye.
Ms. Edmondson.
Yes.
Mr. Barrios.
Aye.
And I vote aye. 10.7.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Let's vote. Ms. Dew,
Aye.
Ms. Edmondson.
Yes.
Mr. Barrios.
Aye.
And I vote aye. 10.8.
No. We're
Just
not doing
kidding.
that one. yet.
Just kidding. I got a line. Yep. Did got to
Pull
put the
that
line
one.
through it.
Okay.
Hey, you're
10.9.
on a roll, too.
I was moving too. And
You
I'll
are doing a
second.
great job.
All right. And vote. Ms. Dew,
Aye.
Ms. Edmondson.
Well, discussion,
Oh, I apologize.
I use it still in my fourth grade classroom, even though that we're not in distance learning, and it's invaluable. I really appreciate Go Guardian. So
All
I
right.
vote yes.
Yay.
I've heard that.
Oh.
All right, Mr. Barrios, your vote.
Aye.
And I vote aye. I'll get this one right, I promise. The routine here. 10.10.
So moved. Second.
Well,
Okay.
Whatever.
Any
Either
discussion?
one.
Just one.
I'll let you
Therapy
know.
travelers, we approved them at least a couple of times the last
We
year or
keep
so.
losing.
So this is, we're still contracting with them, but somebody bowed out once they found the drive to Victorville. Wasn't that nice?
Yes, we've lost a couple since. Yeah, so we keep bringing them back and getting new
Can
people.
we give them a special parking place or something like that to help out? 'Cause
Apartment.
Yeah, no kidding, right? All right, we can
well,
vote.
the poor kids, they get
Aye.
a new,
Miss Edmondson?
SLP every month.
Said- I said aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Edmondson.
Yes.
Mr. Barrios.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Okay, what am I on? 10.11.
Mm-hmm.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Vote. Ms. Dew,
Aye.
Ms. Edmondson.
Yes.
Mr. Barrios.
Aye.
And I vote aye. 10.12.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Let's vote. Ms. Dew,
Aye.
Ms. Edmondson.
Yes.
Mr. Barrios.
Aye.
And I vote aye. 10.13.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, just a question, okay, on Illuminate, okay, that's basically the same as what we used to have called Data Director years ago, okay?
Yes.
Now, is this being used? I remember when we had Data Director, it was used by just a small group of teachers. Now, is this being used? Is it helping? Because if it's not really being utilized, could we get an individual licenses just for the people that use it if we're not going to use it as a bulk thing and save a lot of money?
Dr. Yu?
Yes, it is being used. How much of it is being used is analytics that I will need to go and actually look at. I know that for me, it's baseline year for me since returning. But that is why it's important for us to also be very data-driven and data-informed. And I think some of the things that we're currently doing is getting us to that place where the data is going to be used to inform the decisions that we make. And I think that coordinator of research assessment evaluation will be a huge part of this effort as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. But, as far as how much of it is being used, I'll have to kind of look at the analytics, and I think that Dave Bertelson can help me with that.
I think we should really know that, because a lot of these things, and yes, I know we should be data-driven, we should be this, we should do that, but there's only 6 hours and 35 minutes in a day, and there's lots of other things that you have to do, and doing that stuff does take time.
Yeah.
It's pretty time-intensive. It's really cool when you can do it, but it takes a lot of time.
Ms. Edmondson had a question as well.
Do we get the full scope of the Illuminate? In the elementary district, we use it for a lot of data reasons, but
Yes.
teachers are able to use it for their bank of questions.
That's exactly what it is, yes.
I think that is very
Yes.
useful.
Yeah, it is
Whatever
absolutely
it's used for, I know
teachers.
people use it to generate tests and this and that,
Yeah,
but
that's what we use
do
it
a
as
lot of
well.
people
Item
do
banks,
that.
they can go choose
we
from
use
based on
it
the
a lot.
standards, so it's very robust.
Okay. Vote, Ms. Dew?
Aye.
Ms. Edmondson?
Yes.
Mr. Barrios? And I vote aye. 10.14.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? And
Okay,
vote.
I got one thing, okay,
Yep. Sorry.
Okay, Chromebooks, yes, we're gonna need them. All right, now, with the price of the engraving, $7,000, can't the graphic arts at Victor Valley High School do that? They have the equipment to do it. Save $7,000 and then the kids will be learning on the job how to do the laser engraving.
I think, Brett, would you like to address that?
I don't know if you can answer that.
I mean, Dave.
Mr. Rick
Yeah.
Garcia can answer
I'm one of
I
those
was gonna say,
deaf
he's not
assist
here,
people.
though.
Well, come on,
Rick
wait until
Garcia,
next
right,
month.
though.
I think, because
There you
actually,
go.
if you go to the CDW, they just have these engravers like stacked. But I believe we have one engraver in the district. We'd have to look at multiples, because like this year we bought roughly 10,000 Chromebooks. That'd be a lot of engraving, but it is possible, yes, to have it done in-house.
Well, if it wasn't gonna be a whole bunch, then that'd be a good project for the
Right.
graphic arts kids to do when they don't have something
But
else to do.
that is part of the white glove service, so we have them, set and ready to go. So when they come out of the box, they're ready to be used as a learning tool. Not the $7, but we have what they call white glove services, where they unbox them, add them to our domain, engrave them, which has helped as far as when they're stolen. They show up at pawn shops. They have our logo engraved on them. so-
Right.
And while we have you here,
Yes.
okay, the Chrome carts, all right, we're buying new Chromebooks, cool.
Right.
Now, do the new Chromebooks, do they fit in the old?
Oh,
Chrome
yeah, we
carts?
use all of our old Chrome cards.
Okay, so the Chrome carts are kind of universal, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
that's what I
The
wanted to
power
know,
adapters
because-
have to be replaced because it's a new, that USB-C from all the other ones. But the carts, we use all our carts.
All right.
And now we're kind of switching to charging stations, so they're mounted on the walls. Is the thing we're kind of moving towards now.
All right, otherwise it'd be like an old Studebaker. You just
Right,
never
right.
know
The carts,
which parts
sometimes
are
the
gonna be
electronics on the carts go out and we have to phase them out because you know how they can't charge them all at one time. They have to
no,
like
I
charge them in
understand
banks.
that, but
Yeah.
I was wondering
Yeah, we're-
because,
I will say one thing in
because
this
the Chrome
district,
carts
we-
don't wear out.
Right.
So I was wondering if we had to buy new Chrome carts, was that?
No, we're
because-
just, every classroom wants a Chromebook now,
All right.
after
Yep.
distance learning. So we're just buying more. We're not eliminating anything. We're just adding more
All right,
at
okay.
all times. so.
Glad to hear that. Great, thanks.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Anything on the next one?
We'll vote on this one real quick. Ms. Dew? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So,
Nah,
Dave-
those are just phones.
Dave, is it possible maybe with Mr. Garcia at Victor or any of the other CTE teachers that we could have them help with the
Etching?
engraving?
Yeah, I think we'd have to buy more etchers. I believe he has one, but that's definitely something we could do in-house.
And so will we look at
And we've
that for
actually
this-
talked about that because we don't do that for laptops. And like we have a big batch of laptops coming in. The problem is if we have to have them repaired, they don't want to take them back if they've been etched. So that becomes a problem. But yes, definitely, if you would like, I could work with him.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. He's done a lot of good work.
So we're on 10.14. Just to clarify, Ms. Dew, we take a vote?
Aye.
Ms. Edmondson?
Yes.
Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
And I vote aye. 10.15.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah. Hey, Dave, I lied, okay, but this might be an easy, just a yes or no. All right? So will the new system be able to be more easily set up for, staff? Because lots of staff have to make
These are
parent
just
calls
new
and things like
phones.
that. And I've heard from a lot of people that it's kind of cumbersome to access the long distance. They come up here with 909, 213, 619, all these other area codes, and some people have said it wasn't easy to make those contacts without having to go through the office. I don't know if that's correct. That's just what I heard.
Right, but this is just buying new classroom phones, this one. So we have 440 phones in the
So it'll be
classrooms.
the same system, just new
Same
phones.
system. The phones, I believe the new classroom phones are 2 lines. They have more displays. I think some people break them so they get a new one, but this is just to replace our older 10-year-old phones in the classroom, so we're on all the newer ones. It's not. It doesn't change the features of dialing out. That's where we're kind of starting to look at Google Voice as our option to do that.
It's still kind of status quo then.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. And we can vote. Ms. Dew?
Aye.
Ms. Edmondson?
Yes.
Mr. Barrios?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. We're going to go to 11.1, rejection of claim. Can I get a motion?
Aye.
Second.
Oh. So who had the initial motion?
I think
Mr.
He
Barrios.
did.
Okay.
He made
Just
a
making sure.
sound
That was
there.
like-
And then vote.
Aye.
Ms. Dew, Ms. Edmondson.
Yes.
Mr. Barrios.
Aye.
And I vote aye. You're throwing me for some loops here tonight. Okay, so we got information items. So 12.1, 12.2, 12.3. Any questions about that? Good.
No, we need to have a discussion
Okay.
on these
We
couple
will
of items.
discuss
We're
on
seeking
that
board
one, right.
direction.
Yeah, we
Yep.
will.
Go ahead.
Dr. Williams, is it okay for me to go? You want to?
Go ahead.
Okay. Because of a lot of the questions that are coming forth relative to our facilities, and we are looking at space and space availability. Prior to my arrival, the district was moving towards utilizing the old Cobalt site across the street from Silverado as a place for professional development. The cafeteria was converted for the Central Enrollment Center and so forth. I went over there and toured it, me and Brett and the superintendent and some other individuals. So we have some money we can budget to upgrade that facility, but we want to know and get board direction, superintendent seeking board direction in terms of what are our next steps. Do you want us to look at building out, transferring offices from this facility to over there, look at the expense piece, and we would be willing to come back with a presentation to the board in terms of what that would look like, but staff is seeking direction from the board.
Well, I know from one thing for me, and this has been brought up and it's been either real popular or totally against, is utilizing part of the old Cobalt as Goodwill.
Okay.
They did have a cafeteria until, well, more than one person. They decided that central enrollment would be a wonderful idea over there. And because, they have a gym, the classrooms, I've heard, well, it'll take too much to refurbish it. Well, what is poor Goodwill in now? Okay, the only difference is they had a coat of paint on them. That Cobalt over there with a little touches here and there, would be pretty nice. And, we don't want to have all the mixed traffic. Okay, put a fence down the middle. And then have that, they would have more classrooms, would possibly have more facilities, ease of access.
I like it.
Give the district office room so they could have more offices.
I think it's good.
All right?
Yeah.
So,
I think it's good direction.
So-
Good job, Jose. Good job, man.
So
I
da-
agree. I've said it for many times as Jose, that it should be utilized by our students. I know the drawback is that we've got 2 other schools right next door with release times, but, it was built that way. I don't know why, but it has a wonderful gym that students should utilize. Whoever decided to take out a commercial kitchen, I don't know, because that does not make sense. But it should be utilized by our students.
This is before us, for sure.
So direction to staff on point number 1 is to look at and come back to the board with a plan relative to moving Goodwill from this site to
Yes.
the old Cobalt. And a cost analysis.
It's not real popular with some people, but just being practical.
So there's another point we need direction on relative to professional development. We have some of the classes there. Cabinet has been in discussion relative to utilizing those classes for professional development that could be utilized district-wide. What is the board's thought processes regarding that?
Again, you cut it in half. Half would be Goodwill, half would be your PD center. I mean, when I was working for our district, but I was stationed out at Adelanto, behind their elementary school office. Best job I ever had. But they had a specific classroom, all the computers, all that, and that's where they did computer training. Because usually the complaint I hear when any staff, certificated or classified, go to a place for training, it's like, oh, they don't have enough seats. They don't have this. No, that person doesn't understand because, you know, they're from Silverado or they're from Victor. Okay, this is a neutral site, you know, so they go there.
Yeah, I think step one would be to find the numbers and see what that looks like to move
I don't
Goodwill.
know if half is needed, because at one time Goodwill was over where University Prep is now.
Yes, yeah.
And it was thriving. It offered a lot to our students, a lot to the families. And so I wouldn't want to give away half for PD if not that much is needed. But I think it certainly can accommodate professional development and be utilized by our students.
So maybe if we will do this to truncate it, we'll come back with a comprehensive, get direction from the superintendents to come back with a comprehensive plan, put everything on the board, and then let the board make a
Yes, I
decision in
think that's
terms
the
of what
best.
we want to do,
Yes.
if it's moving offices over there and all of that. Would that
You
work?
good with that?
Yep.
You okay with that?
Yeah, well,
Because
yeah.
Penny
Well,
made the point, and this has been statistically proven, the facts, the data, that when Goodwill was over there, where UP is now, that was really not a continuation school. It wasn't really an alternative well, it was, but they had so many students, they had as many students as, you know, one of our schools, our junior highs when they started up. Now Goodwill's the other extreme. So in between there somewhere, there should be a smaller environment, not huge, not small, but they wouldn't even need probably half the classrooms there. But at least if they had one wing there, I was just saying half because it's easier to cut something in half than cut it into pieces.
Yeah, I would just come back with the options so we can see it
Options
on.
and expenditure
yeah.
Yeah,
expenditure
you know,
It'd probably be
analysis.
better to see it physically on paper. or something.
Yeah,
So-
I think if you just come back with the plans and then we'll take a look at it with everybody here so that they can see it.
Yeah, because it's a waste of space.
To
right
make
now,
sure.
and it's-
Brett is already,
Brett's already-
I've talked to him about teeing it up, so we'll bring that back.
Okay, sounds
So
good.
the next thing is, which is part of my discussion item, is the Sim Silverado easement. So,
What's with that?
so the district, when Silverado was built, let me look at my notes. Based on our review of the easement and related documents, I understand that the district had graciously received an easement for the purposes of facilitated access for Silverado. So now the organization or whatnot that was a part of the easement, TA Partners LLC, they would like for the district to release the easement so that they, you know, they're building these houses out and stuff like this, and then they're looking at additional access or taking a road from on the back of Silverado, the Sim side, out to Palmdale Boulevard, which would relieve traffic congestion.
So is that like Diamond Road? Which road would that be? What's the road right in front of Cobalt?
Topaz, right?
Topaz,
So
yeah.
taking
Topaz.
Topaz
All the
straight
way
out to Palmdale?
I don't know if it's is it specifically Topaz, Brett?
Yes,
She said.
Topaz back to Palmdale.
Yeah. Okay.
And also put a stoplight at Palmdale and Topaz.
Well,
So
people-
that would be
people love
phenomenal.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aye. Can we
But-
just vote?
We
I-
need that.
I need direction from the board.
No, we
if
need
can
that.
move forward
Yeah,
with
we
that.
do need
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, easement.
Okay, that's it. That was easy.
Because the
That was easy,
because
okay.
the description sounded
That
like it
doesn't
was
work
the
out like
space
that.
in between Cobalt.
Okay, so that was 12.4, so we're good.
Both district property.
Okay, guys, let's bring it back in. We're almost there. We're almost there. 12.5, recommendations for increased support for non-English speaking families and students.
Thank you. Thank you, Board of Trustees. I'm very excited to kind of bring a recommendation. As you know, I believe in the last in the last few months, we've listened to our community at the board meeting, at supper with the superintendent, at forums, and there is a need to provide additional support to our non-English speaking families and our students. So before you are our 3 documents, I'd like for you to look at this one first. This represents the 33 different languages that are spoken in our district outside of English.
They're all my wife's class.
The longer document here is the work of the committee, including our translator and our EL coordinator, Maura Balmaceda, myself, and talking with principals and so forth. really looking at, we always ask, well, what are other districts doing? What are their numbers look like when it comes to interpreters and translators that they have either at the site or at the district level? What is their grade span? What's their ADA? And also, do they provide a stipend for some of their Spanish-speaking clerical staff? What does that look like? We also ask them, well, for those clerical staff who receive stipends, is there a test that's required, a local assessment that they have to pass in order to get that stipend? We also ask them about their bilingual office staff. Now that data piece, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 column, is not as accurate as we would have liked it because this was going off of what they kind of think. Some sites, some districts say, yes, we generally have, Spanish-speaking staff at the site, at every school, but that one was harder to kind of gather. But as far as your bilingual paraprofessionals, so that would be your bilingual instructional assistants, we were able to gather that data as well. And then again, any additional vendors or any organizations outside that they use to help them with those kinds of interpreting and translating needs and so forth. So we've provided you with districts: Adelanto Elementary School, Apple Valley, Barstow, Hesperia, my former district of Riverside, Snowline, Victor Elementary, and then our district is represented on the very last row there. So you can kind of see where we stand with regards to those items, so that you have a good idea of kind of where we're at. So right below that is really our recommendations, and we do believe that there needs to be an increase in district translators and interpreters. As wonderful as Jonas is, and I think we all adore and love him, he's a one-man show, and really to meet the needs of our IEPs, meeting the needs of meetings where, we need a translator there. So we are asking for an increase in that role. We are also looking at, now it's negotiated, but we wanted to provide the board with, most districts are looking at between, if they are looking in that direction as far as a stipend, it's really between $60 to $90 a month for clerical. I know my friend, the superintendent in Moreno Valley, they're offered $75 a month for clerical for that stipend. Riverside right now is also negotiating a $75 as well too. So that's kind of the range that we're looking at. Also, the other document I'd like for you to refer to is this one, which is the Interpreters Unlimited. And I want to thank Dr. Rubalcava because he brought this to my attention that, there are actually vendors out there, companies like this out there, because if we are servicing 33 different languages, that means 32 of them are not Spanish speaking. So when you look at our demographics and we have students that come from other countries and speak Mandarin or speak Farsi or speak Khmer or something like that, what do we do to support their families? So this company is pretty awesome because, as you can tell, these are some of the numbers that they have over 130 different languages that they can provide over the phone for interpretation or on a Google Meet. So that if you take a look at it on page 2, here's all the language listed. And these are just the more popular ones that get utilized, but totally they have about 130. And I think when you're looking at equity and access for all students, you've got to consider all of our students. So this will kind of provide that support. It'll be a baseline year because we don't know how often it's going to be used, but we just know that for every minute it's being used, it's being charged about $1.25 per minute. So
And I'm
whether
assuming this is a live person, right, with this?
This is
That's
a
what I
live
thought.
person.
Okay.
You can do video or
Because I
even
know the
phone.
court system uses
Yes.
almost very similar to this.
So, again, that is our recommendation. So we talked about additional translators, bilingual stipend. Again, it has to be negotiated. Translators unlimited. And also we're looking at increasing the direct support of primary language support in the classroom. We know that we get the bang for our bucks when we actually have adults working with our students in the classroom providing that support. And if you know people, or maybe yourself, you might be an immigrant to the United States, you value that when you have somebody there to really support you as you're doing your work. So those are kind of our numbers, kind of based on the ratios of English learners that are at each of our school. And on the little graph there, I did by school site, provided you with the number of English learners and their different levels. Remember, we have level 1 through 4. Those are the numbers represented in the last column, so you have a good idea of kind of where the sites are and how many ELs they have. All right.
So it would be for languages other than Spanish, And then to accommodate our Spanish-speaking families, we would provide a stipend to be negotiated to have our clerical staff. Could it also be perhaps a teacher who might be on their prep period if they wanted to utilize that?
Usually a stipend would not be for a certificated staff. It would,
Okay.
I've only understood it as for your clerical support.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for that
questions?
Thank you for that.
Good.
All right. 12.6. That's just first reading, right?
Yeah, so we, as a result of the changes from the Personnel Commission transitioning out of the merit system, the board must adopt a policy that applies to confidential management, classified service. We have taken this, of course, to the table as we negotiate impacts and effects with CSEA. We had a good session. It is a first read, but they were in agreement with this language.
Perfect. Okay, 13.1, business service. Oh, I apologize.
I'm sorry. Along the lines of a admin regulation, Caleb asked if I could plant the seed about possibly allowing if a teacher would like to show something, an educational value film in their classroom that may not have a P or PG rating, if it could be discussed, or if you could research how a teacher could do that. Perhaps modify the film or parent waivers or parent permission, but if you could look into that for an admin regulation?
Yeah, we'd be happy to do that. There is a process in many school districts to be able to show it requires parent consent. We may have something already in policy. I am not 100% sure. We'd have to do a review, and if we don't, CSBA has a template that we can bring.
Absolutely. And actually, I did speak to Mr. Castaneda about that, and also the teacher who was requesting that, and we do have a plan moving forward, but we may need to revise our admin regs in that because it doesn't outline the procedure of doing that, and we absolutely want to be flexible, and we know the value of videos in the classroom as well, so.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
There used to be a process in the district for that, because I know I had to do it when I was a health teacher, because some of the things were kind of questionable.
Yep.
Well, didn't you have to get permission from the parents?
Yeah,
Because
that's what
some
she said. They're
parents-
gonna revise it, though.
Yeah, and then also some parents, might not even want their kid in there.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
I
has to
know.
be a process.
And the
So
kids
you
sign the
have to
permission
really
slip and all
make
that kind of
sure.
good stuff, yeah.
All right, 13.1, we're gonna go, Dr. Hawkins, you've had the floor a lot today, so.
I'll be real quick on this one because I
Alright,
know
there you
everybody
go.
wants to get out of here. So first of all, we're going to look at a budget workshop. Have a discussion with co-superintendents. After the May revise, we want to start pivoting to, after we go to the January governor's workshop and a May revise, then a workshop or some type of discussion with the board. Just a little narrative in terms of what's going on, what's articulated. But this one for May, after May 20th, I believe it is. Ms. Bowman, right? It was the 20th. We want to do a more deep dive regarding our budget and some of the nuances that are going on, the deficit spending, and some type of plan to make sure that we have a good fiscal stabilization plan. Because the bottom line is you can't deficit spend forever without eventually running into some challenges. So we just want to bring a workshop to the board, question and answer session, to go a deep dive into the budget. Okay. Secondarily, I want the board to be aware in our community, this is something that has affected all school systems in the state of California. The California Department of Education, apparently, they did a budgeted carryover amount that was established in error for Title I. So there will be a 4.5% reduction in our Title I allocations. We, though, because we were already carrying over dollars, I don't anticipate it will affect us, but I just, for transparency, just want to let you know. And that was sent out by the County Office of Education to every school system in the state and charter schools, anyone that receives Title I. And then finally, I want to, again, I've done this before, but give kudos to our fiscal services staff. Everyone's scheduled to receive their final retros on for this year or this term. 331 for classified, 401 for certificated, and this one will be much bigger than the last one because it's going to cover a whole fiscal year. So they've done a lot of hard work, and I think we should sort of celebrate them and give them kudos coming in on the weekends and so forth to make sure that this was done as promised. And that's it.
All right.
Good for them. Thank you very much.
All right, Ed
Appreciate it.
Services.
All right, good evening again. I wanted to begin by sharing my condolences to our employee who has passed, and our thoughts and prayers go out to her and her family, and also the staff at Silverado. I want to also congratulate the Victor Valley wrestling team. Coach Campbell just always does an amazing job with our students, and I'm just so happy, to come back and see how successful they continue to be. And then there's, and congratulations also to Stephanie, for her achievement. And I have no talent. I can't sing, can't play, can't dance. So I'm always enthralled when I hear about, that our young folks can do so much. So we're very proud of her. Also, we have 2 students from Adelanto High School. His name is Edgar Monteroso, and he won Best in Show. And Ashley Mendoza, who also took first place in Mixed Media Art at the County Art Show held at Cal State San Bernardino recently.
Awesome.
So we just want to recognize
Very
them.
cool.
And, just so proud of the work that they've done. And I also wanted to, Ebony, way to go on the supper with superintendent. Such a great turnout and your leadership and everything. And then just on behalf of CEC and also Ed Services and Mike, thank you so much for helping support our campaign to really increase the enrollments of our feeder, schools and so forth. I know you were there on the weekend, last weekend, helping out. We enrolled over 80 students in that one event. And, CEC has done such a phenomenal job to really get that enrollment. I mean, to have 400 enrollments this time of the year already, that just helps so much in the way that we do business and support. So thank you for your staff also for supporting that effort. Those are great things. And our kids, when they came and did the enrollment, they got swag bags, they got school supplies. What a way to welcome our community, and welcome them, show what we are here in Victor Valley. So those are all such great things. I'm coming off of a 2-day outward mindset training that we had. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not big on the virtual stuff because, you can't be sitting on your bottom, because adult ADHD is absolutely real. And also the Zoom fatigue is absolutely real. But I'm going to tell you the 2 days of outward training has really impacted, in my experience. That's the second time I've done it, really getting you to look at things from a different lens. So Lance Olson, who was our facilitator, did such a great job because you have to understand mindset affects behavior, which in turn affects results. So depending how you approach things with your mindset, you're going to get the results that you want. So this is not a one and done. Outward mindset is going to be about a 5-year implementation plan. We did it with 25 managers the last few days. We're going to do it with all managers next year, and then teachers, classified students, and our families. So please know it's here to stay, because I really believe, and I think all of us believe, it really starts with our mindset. We got to see people for who they are. So I'm excited about that work, and I know I'm talking quite a bit. Equity Task Force, our first meeting is March 31st. I'm excited about it. Mr. Castaneda will also be part of that committee as well. We're going to do some great things and really make sure that equity is at the forefront of our decisions. March 8th, International Women's Day. So I just wanted to kind of uplift and really honor all of the beautiful women that are here and also that are watching, who's making a difference in the lives of our students, and we so appreciate that. And lastly, Jessica Padilla, I hear you. You're a woman after my own heart, because being inclusive and really recognizing that we can see, we can hear, those are gifts, those are gifts. So we're gonna definitely take some of your advice and ensure that we are being very inclusive to our deaf and hard of hearing community, and that we're looking at, and see what we can do with the ASL class, because I did come from a district that implemented that very recently. So I'm excited about researching that a little bit more. So those are my comments for this evening.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Human Resources.
Good evening, everyone. Also want to express my condolences to the Baker family, Silverado. Want to share that I was extremely impressed by how the Silverado family supported her throughout her battle. And then when she passed, they've just come together to support the family in a very unique and special way. So thank you for doing that. Want to congratulate all of our students. It's really nice when we have students come in and we're able to celebrate them, whether it was the wrestling team, the music accomplishments, and these last ones in the art show. We got to do that more. It's just uplifting during challenging times. Thank you for your comments, CSEA, VVTA. I think this is the first time I hear that bargaining was actually pleasant at times, right? At times. And that's, we build a relationship together, and I think that it has been very productive. The process has gone very quickly. And so thank you to all of your teams and to our district team for separating time from all the craziness that you all have to do. You're there to help the district, represent the district, and make it happen. I accept that challenge, Anita. Let's get it done. Let's get it done with CSEA as well. And we can do it. I have a good feeling we can do it. We have 60 days. That's fine. We'll accomplish it in less than that. Want to thank Richard for putting that announcement in all the school sites. We're very fortunate to have a surplus of COVID-19 tests. So for any staff members, families who want them, put it up there, Anita. They're available, and we actually got another shipment, I think today, Brett, or tomorrow. We have thousands of them. So if any staff members or students want them, they're available at your school sites. They're available here at the district office. Please come get them so that we can keep everyone safe, especially in consideration that we're about to go to spring break. So before you come back from spring break, take your test. Make sure you stop the spread, okay? I was unaware of Deaf and Hard of Hearing History Month, something I learned tonight. And I really like the message from our employee, Jessica, saying that let's be more inclusive with those captions. So I'm sure that with the superintendents and the team, we will explore that possibility and can make that happen. I asked the board to please reconsider the doctoral stipend for management. If it means cabinet being excluded so that we can give it to our other administrators, I'm hoping that you please reconsider that, because we value higher education.
Yes,
we value an investment in professional development and growth. And if it means excluding us, just putting it out there in the universe. Finally, I just want to say, have a great spring break, everyone, and get some rest. Be safe. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. R. Okay, legislation.
Yes.
We got some in front of us here.
Yes, for the board, two items that I'd like you to take a look at, keep us moving. The educational, second one, AB 1634, which deals with the educational local control funding formula.
Right.
Base grant for aspiring funding, legal reports, as well as on the backside, AB 1703, which is the California Indian Act. It's about establishing a task force for Indian education task force. So that's all.
Perfect, thank you. All right, we don't have a student representative tonight, so let's go to 14.2, Mr. Barrios.
Well, that was my first thing. So why don't we have a student representative? Oh,
so good
God,
for
this
good
would
for
have been
her.
harder to do. Heck. The other one was probably fun.
This unfortunately does not count for.
No. I was just curious because God was missing.
You would think, right?
All right.
Yeah.
And anyway, first thing was somebody mentioned that Hook needed an assistant principal. I thought Mrs. Rask was the assistant principal over there. At Hook.
Would you like me to? Yeah. So yes, Ms. Rask is the assistant principal. Executive cabinet approved and the board approved an additional position. We ran the recruitment. A selection was not made, so there's a vacancy for the additional.
Oh, so they have two assistant principals.
That is correct.
Oh, good. They need it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
good.
we just haven't filled it because the selection didn't go through. However, we're running that recruitment again.
Okay, good. Well, that's good. Hey, they need some extra help over there. Okay. Trying to help you out, Carlos. All right. And again, to Ms. Baker's family, the prayers, condolences. I mean, like this year, every meeting, maybe we're gonna have a meeting here where we're gonna have some totally cheerful news. Okay, I hope so. Speaking of cheerful news, all right, it was great to see that the Victor wrestling team still carrying on the tradition, and it is a tradition because it's been going on for quite a while. Probably since Barb was at school there. I think Dick Conley was coach when you were there. Was
Yes.
He? Yeah. Okay. So that's a long time ago.
A long time.
All right.
Forever and ever.
Well, hey,
185
I'm not far
years.
behind. Okay. So, but anyway, and it was great to see a music award. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know how long it's been since I've seen a music award in this district. How about you?
Quite quite a while.
Yeah, remember when we used to be the standard for music.
This district was band.
Yeah,
I mean,
band, choir, and
everybody
Emerald
was
Airs,
afraid
all
of
that
our
kind of
band.
stuff. Yeah. So it was great to see. So that's a good start. So good job, Ebony.
Music.
All right.
Oh, I love it.
Okay. And I also heard that they didn't get mentioned the auto program at Adelanto. They were recently in the competition, and they did pretty darn good too. So that's good. So we're taking care of everything. Okay. You know, the arts. You know, the grease monkeys, the art people. So we got it all covered. If we can, I hope Ms. Johnson ever got her picture hung, because I know when I was there, she was still trying to get that big picture hung. Got that, Brett? No, Michelle Johnson was trying to get this big, huge picture she had hung up, and I don't know if it ever got hung up or not. Oh, it did?
There's an entire hallway in the art wing with their student.
Hallelujah. Okay, good.
really
Well,
nice.
it's
really nice.
all right. Well, it's an antique by now.
Yeah, we just
All right.
saw those.
Yeah, no. And her
Talking
students do.
about an antique.
So that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
Great.
right. It's an
Okay.
antique today.
And anyway, hope everybody has a nice, safe Easter break, and I hope the weather cooperates.
All right. Mr. Castaneda is not here today, so Miss Dew.
Miss Dew? First of all, I want to send my condolences to the family of the person that passed away. I want to thank the wrestling team for being here. That was great to see them, because I love to see the kids. And Ebony, that was a great thing to bring that musical person in here. I love that. One of my goals is to see at every school a marching band and a whole works that we used to have many, many years ago, because it was number one in our whole entire area. Our only competition was Barstow at times, but I'd love to see bands and music and people like that. Thank you for bringing her to us like that. Oh, yes, and thank the teacher, yes, for sure, and for having that student like that. Her name is Stephanie, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that, you know, a lot of times I do a lot of legislation and things on legislation. We've been working for 2 days on legislation in Sacramento and trying to get our base, we're trying to increase the base for local funding that in our May revise that we might have, and also looking at school pension relief so that we don't have these pensions hanging over us as much as we do. We also were talking about the COVID average daily attendance relief. That's something that we're trying to push through Sacramento. And the home to school transportation funding. The governor gave us the money for electric vehicles, but he didn't give us all the funding for everything that we need.
Amazing.
So we're
You don't
trying to
travel
push.
far enough.
Yeah, he stopped. He did part of it,
like a
but
toy
didn't do
without
all of
batteries.
it. So we're trying to make sure that we get it all instead of just part of it. So for 2 days, we've been working on legislation and talking to our representatives in this area to try to make sure that they vote on the bills that we want to improve our educational thing. And it's been really hectic. They're listening, but we hope that they will move on that before the May revise so that we can get funding for that. It was really heartwarming for me to see Grease at Victor Valley High School. The play, it was actually great. Absolutely great. And I was hoping they would be here tonight, but she says that they'll come when? Next board meeting? Next board meeting, so that we could see a little demonstration of them. But it was just great to see those kids perform at that play. And they were so energized. I mean, it just was really great. I did go to Sunday to the WASP meeting that they had at Silverado. And I didn't hear the kid talking, but I did see a lot of parents there, and they're very enthused about our district and how we function. We, because of our reputation, seem to be acquiring more and more students who are leaving their districts or schools and coming to our school, because this is one of the known schools within the state of California. I just want to thank you for negotiating and our units for negotiating with them. And hopefully we'll reach some kind of tentative thing, an agreement that we can work on between CSEA and CTA. That's a positive for us because so many people in other districts are having quite a few problems right now, mostly with the mandates that we have within our state for wearing our masks. It is really a challenge for a lot of districts right now, all up and down, all 33 districts that we have. And I also want to thank Dr. Yee for putting together the program so that we can understand what's going on and how everything is happening. And thank you very much for all your people that worked all that time to make sure that we get the funding that we needed. It took a while, but it's really good. I appreciate that. And I want to thank all of you guys over there, including Jackie and Dr. Mulman and you for.
We're just gonna have to put it on your title. I mean, it just.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
We'll give you
for
the stipend.
assisting us for everything that you guys do.
All right.
And that's about it.
Thank you.
And happy Women's Month.
Yes.
For all the women that are around the world. Unfortunately, the ones in the Ukraine, that's not a good thing. But and I also want to thank you for St. Patrick's Day. It's a happy day for a lot of people.
All right, Miss Edmonston, go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, we're having a great time.
Condolences to Sharon Baker and her family, but also accolades to Heather Conkle for gathering the troops and making sure that Miss Baker's family is taken care of, because she has a 10th grade son who is a student at Silverado. So if we can keep him in our thoughts as well as the whole family, but this didn't affect just the family of Silverado, but this woman's child as well. Mr. Hawkins, Dr. Hawkins, can you please give us some kind of update about Lakeview not being a closed campus? The person who came up to speak tonight mentioned how adults can get on campus at Lakeview. I've been at Lakeview and I've not been able to get on campus without going through the office, but since that was a comment and that's a concern, if you could follow up on that and let us know.
Yeah, Lakeview is we don't just allow anyone to come in. If I recollect correctly, she was discussing about when the issue is going into the office and having some type of barrier there, right in the open area when you walk through the doors. But we will look into it. Staff will do an analysis and respond to the board.
I'd appreciate that, because it seemed like it was the public going on campus, so if you could clarify that.
I've never been able to go in there like that.
Dr. Rubalcaba, any movement towards the job fair?
Yes, so we've started the conversation. I know we've been able to share that with the superintendents. They're both open to the idea of holding our own job fair on site. So we're gonna get together after spring break. We're gonna plan. A lot of the positions have been posted already. What we have to do is look at the logistics of what that might look like. But we are very much looking into having our own job fair.
Okay, and possibly inviting other districts in our high desert to participate. For example, Adelanto and Victor L., they wouldn't be competing. They're looking for the younger, teachers of the younger grades.
Yeah, that's something we gotta discuss. I don't have an issue with that. We do hire multiple subject teachers, so there is a little competition. But for our 7th and 8th grade students, there are multiple subject teachers, quite a few, and it's very hard to hire for multiple subject. So that's something we can discuss as a team and be happy to report back.
Well, of the teachers up here, we pretty much know that teachers like their grade. They have a niche.
Yeah.
2nd grade, 4th grade, high school.
9th grade.
So,
Bless their hearts.
It's worth doing. Tanya, we do support you. We do support CSEA, but could you please give us some more specific information? If you're asking for certain positions at certain sites, could you please give us a bullet list and let us know? Because I haven't seen that. I haven't seen exactly what kind of support CSEA needs. If you could give us that, I would appreciate that. You can email us to all of us. Ebony, this car show, thank you for this bulletin. I put it up on I had a color copy and I put it up on my wall in my classroom, but I happen to have a little boy who loves everything about cars, and he took it. And I was glad he took it. And so he and his father are probably going to go, and mom as well. I'm sorry I won't be here that weekend because I have a CTA event, but it looks wonderful. So I want to support you with the car show. And anybody else who's interested, that's April 9th at Adelanto High School. I'd like to thank Dr. Yee for making sure that 50 of our teachers could attend the Good Teaching Conference. That is one of the best I've ever seen. So I wish all those teachers safe travels there and back. They'll love it if they haven't gone before. And then to wish everybody a happy and restful spring break. Thank you.
All right. Last but not least, that's me. Just to, as you go last, everybody's already said everything for the most part. But definitely condolences to the Baker family. It's always hard losing anybody. Victor High Wrestling Team, CT Campbell has really set the bar high for all wrestling in the Valley. So not just in this district, but literally in the Valley. So congratulations to them, Noah as well, and that whole team and staff. The other thing, if we can look into some sort of software possibly for our board meetings to maybe translate, if that's a possibility. I mean, something, captions, something exists, I'm sure.
Google language.
Yeah,
should be
Google
able to do
language.
something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's something out there. I know there is. We could maybe possibly look in that because I know that was a concern. And Dr. Yee, I think that's great, looking into the American Sign Language. I think that's a great idea. And let's see. And I know we've talked about the SRO possibly at Lakeview, is that the splitting time?
The probation officer is currently split. So right now we are looking at the contract, and as we restructure, our organizational chart, we'll be able to flow that in the right direction. But that's something that I will take to the superintendents and cabinet, that as we revisit the contract, whether we need an individual at Lakeview, so that way full-time at Hook and full-time at Lakeview is possible.
That might be a necessity. I would look at that. If you can get back to us on that, and that'd be great.
Sure.
That's all I had, so we're going to move over to Dr. Williams.
Yes, I'd just like to thank everyone for, today being St. Patrick's Day, and thanking everyone that's wearing green, and I see a lot of green out there. Also,
I see a lot of red.
I see a lot of red as well. The WASP accreditation that's going on at Silverado, I know yesterday was their last day. I don't have an understanding as to what the findings, if there were any, that the WASP committee brought forth. We had supper with the superintendent yesterday. Ebony, thank you very much for the outstanding job that you did there. Also, when it comes to the funeral for Mrs. Butler, Baker, excuse me. Well, we'll have someone from the district offices who will be attending the funeral. We have a meeting tomorrow with Adelanto, Victor L., and Victor Union High School District, and we are finalizing this strategic plan, and we should be bringing it to you the next board meeting.
Perfect. Mr. Moment.
Oh, man. How much time do I have?
As long as you want.
We're not at 8 o'clock. Jackie said 8 o'clock, so we're 5 till.
No.
What time is it right now?
8:15, I heard.
First
8:15?
I want to thank the board, Dr. Williams and Jackie, for bringing me out of retirement off the golf course to come back and assist the district.
We might have golf teams. You don't have to leave that part behind.
I spent the 3 weeks just trying to understand and get familiar with the lay of the land of the district. We have a lot of work to do. A lot of work. But I want to extend my condolences to Sharon and the family.
Yeah.
And we did also send out a sympathy card to the family as well. So I'm not sure. I'm just trying to understand the lay of the land. It was great, though, that the district is still recognizing students at the board meeting, and student achievement is big in our district. So
Yeah.
it also means that our teachers are doing and classified are doing an outstanding job with our young people, because that's why we're here. We're here about young people.
That's right.
And the goal is to try to have the best people in place so we can do a phenomenal job with our kids. This district used to be probably one of the best districts in the whole San Bernardino County. And
Yeah.
and we want to try to keep that going. We want to stay there, and we want to continue to recognize our kids in terms of high student achievement. So it's just great to be back. I'm learning a lot. The first 4 days, I didn't think I was going to make it, but I did. And we'll continue to look at processes, protocols, and systems and accountability in our district.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Moman. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Can I get a vote? Ms. Dew?
Aye.
Ms. Edmonston?
Yes.
Mr. Barrios? And I vote aye as well. Happy, or St. Patrick's Day, right? Is that what we're
St. Patrick.
Yeah, that's right, man. Where's my corned
It
beef?
is.
Corned beef and hash.
Corned beef and hash. That's
Corned
good.
beef and hash, corned beef and
Have the
cabbage.
Guinness drink.